A high-stakes Florida bill is now headed for the governor's desk. Among other things, the legislation limits what classrooms can teach about sexual orientation and gender identity, earning it the nickname the Don't Say Gay bill. Victor Oquendo has more on what it would mean for teachers and students in the classroom.
This morning, the Parental Rights in Education bill, which has gained national attention, sparking statewide protests and student walkouts, heading to the desk of Governor Ron DeSantis, who's expected to sign it into law.
We're going to make sure that parents are able to send their kid to kindergarten without having some of this stuff injected into their school curriculum.
The legislation, dubbed the Don't Say Gay bill by critics, bans lessons in sexual orientation or gender identity in kindergarten through the 3rd grade and any instruction that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students in accordance with state standards. The bill, which does not define what is age appropriate, would allow parents to sue school districts or teachers if they believe the policy is being violated. Supporters argue the bill is not about targeting particular students, but empowering parents.
All it does is state what is age, it talks about what's appropriate in the classroom to teach.
LGBTQ plus community advocates warn this will prevent teachers and schools from helping the 52% of LGBTQ youth enrolled in middle or high school who reported being bullied in the last year, and the 42% who reported seriously considering suicide.
You have bills like this that is now preventing teachers from being able to express and share and be able to console students who might bring these type of issues to school.
And Governor DeSantis, who has signaled support for the bill, now has 7 days to sign it. Diane?
All right, Victor Oquendo, thanks for that. And for more on this, I'd like to bring in President and CEO of GLAAD, Sarah Kate Ellis, for more on this. Sarah Kate, thanks for being here. I know you've been a very outspoken critic of this bill. You write on Twitter that it's an effort to silence, shame, and divide and disrespect. So explain why you think this is so harmful.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I just want to say, not only am I the president of GLAAD, I'm gay, and I have 2 kids who are 13. I have twin 13-year-olds. So this is very personal for me. So if you look at kindergarten to 3rd grade, there is no curriculum around sexual orientation and gender identity. The whole thing is just ridiculous, and it's framed as parental rights when actually all it's doing is targeting LGBT kids, families, teachers, shaming us, and it's legalizing censorship. So it's really targeting one community that is already ostracized. And I think, for me personally, I think that when I look at these kids who are in school that see school as a safe place or a safe space, and now it's becoming a war zone for them. And these politicians are taking their personal agenda of raising money and building names for themselves and using our children and our classrooms to create divisions. And it's just crazy. And it's very, very dangerous because, as you reported, what the result of all of this is that these kids feel ostracized and shamed for who they are, and their suicidal ideation and attempts skyrocket. And we have the proof through the Trevor Project that this is consistent. We're seeing it in Texas. And I just want to say one last thing. This is specific about Florida, but if you look across the country, there are nearly 200 anti-LGBTQ bills that have been proposed this year. And this is a coordinated effort. They all have very similar language, and they're targeting the LGBTQ community. And what we're not focusing on is a report that came out yesterday that says our students are way behind in reading because of the pandemic. Let's put our money and our effort there, not on targeting children who are LGBTQ or their families.
And Sarah Kate, in a recent interview on our Start Here podcast, Representative Joe Harding, who introduced the bill, defended it, saying that it would not prohibit people from discussing gender identity and sexual orientation in classrooms, just that it would ban curriculum and lessons on it. He says this is about giving parents more rights about raising their kids. What's your response to that?
I want him to show me one curriculum that includes sexual education in kindergarten to 3rd grade. It just doesn't exist, having had kindergarten to 3rd grade kids. And I think this is a Trojan horse. Why are we even discussing this? It's not a curriculum agenda item. They're creating a solution to a problem that doesn't exist, and they're creating problems for a lot of people. And what this does at the end of the day is politicize LGBTQ people who just want to go to school, learn how to read and write, and every now and then want to see their families represented as well. I will tell you, having 2 children, my kids' favorite book when they were little was Mommy and Me. And that was the only book that existed that showcased their family. And they saw themselves in that because they live in a world that is primarily straight, heterosexual, cis. And for once, they saw themselves in the book, and that made them feel like they belong. And is that a terrible thing?
And Sarah, I want to move on to, because I'm running out of time with you. The Walt Disney Company, the parent company of ABC News, received some backlash for donating to some Florida state politicians that are sponsoring the bill. In an internal note to employees, the CEO says the entire leadership team unequivocally stands in support of LGBTQ plus employees, their families, their communities, and we are committed to creating a more inclusive company and world. Now, Disney is just one of several companies who are criticized for not doing enough related to this legislation. So what do advocates want to see from companies on this?
So I will say kudos to the Disney employees because they've been leading the way on this and leading the charge. And what we want to see is actually corporates leading the charge and it not be a bottom up leadership where it's a top down leadership and are setting the pace for this. We need companies to speak out. We need them to use their economic clout and their political clout to stop these bills. And I think when you see that Gen Z, over 21% identify as LGBTQ. These are the employees and the consumers of the future and the now, and you need to respond and support them or they will hold you accountable. I don't think companies who are not speaking out on this are going to get a pass from our community.
All right, GLAAD President and CEO Sarah Kate Ellis, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.